All right, so we are inside Cedar Rose Winery. We have one of the owners, Dustin.
Hey.
And he is going to take us around the winery, give us a little tour, talk about the wines. And really quick, I'll start with a quick question. How long have you guys been here?
So this vineyard here, the big vineyard, is about 20 acres. That went in 2013. But it was kind of a long road from there to get the winery open. So we put the vines in 2013. We didn't actually open the winery up until 2018.
So how long does it take from the minute you plant the vines to the minute you can start using the grapes for wine production?
Usually 3-ish years. We actually were able to work with our Chamberson the second year because Chamberson is just so vigorous and really grows grows well in New Jersey.
Yeah, it's
kind of bulletproof.
One of its biggest.
So we got a lot out of our Chamberson on the second leaf. So we picked some of that on the second leaf, but it's usually about 3 years, sometimes 4 years, depending on the grape variety.
Okay. So that was your first grape that you would say?
Yeah, well, actually, in addition, because that other little vineyard I was pointing you to, that one, we actually have Cabernet Franc and Bordeaux, and that was planted in 2012. And so that was the year before. So we basically went from that 1.5 acre vineyard over there to this 20 acre vineyard.
How many varietals do you have now?
I think it's about 16.
16?
Something like that. Yeah, 16. Yeah, we like to experiment.
I like that. So what do we have there?
So this is our orange wine offering. And so this was sort of a natural wine that we have been experimenting with. And it's not, I guess, strictly a natural wine. We still used yeast, commercial yeast, because the wild yeast are a little bit unpredictable. They can give you some nasty flavor sometimes, so I like to use at least the commercial yeast for that. But it's Traminette that was skin fermented for 2 weeks. And so you can see that it's picked up quite a bit of color, from being on the skins. And we sell this under a brand called laissez-faire. And so laissez-faire is really an economic term, but it really means like let things be as they will, basically, or kind of hands off. And so that's sort of the idea with these wines, is that they're more natural, more hands off, older styles, more ancestral styles. And so this was the first offering out of the laissez-faire brand.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Can't wait to try that.
Yeah. And you'll see it's got some sedimentation in there, so it's totally unfiltered.
It's actually really good.
I like it. I mean, that's why I said I didn't want it to go too far in the weird natural wine direction.
Orange wine. Salud. This is La Crescent?
This is La Crescent, yep. So this is, we only have one, not even a full row of this, so not a whole lot.
And this is a hybrid grown on site?
It is, yeah. Very interesting. Something else interesting I just realized is that this is sparkling. It's just very different from a lot of other wines, just the aromatically. It's very, it has a lot of, it reminds me a little bit of
Albariño. This is all done on property.
Yep, this is 100% estate grown, this Albariño is, yeah. And so this is Steve's, the property that Steve's mom owns. And so this is what it looked like back in 2009.
Okay.
And 2010, all the way up until 2011. But basically we would finish up work and just kind of cruise around, take a walk through there, we could maybe rip this thing down and you could put a vineyard
here. It's a lot of trees.
It was a lot. But so when we both graduated in 2011, I had an internship out in California, weirdly enough, working in blueberries, which is the opposite way. I went the wrong direction. Should have just went up to Hamilton, but
because New Jersey is the blueberry.
Yeah, exactly. But Steve called me about a week into my internship, and he just calls me and says, "Hey, listen, I bought a chainsaw and I started cutting the woods down." And I was like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna just start cutting trees down. We'll see what happens."
Oh my God.
Well, so that's actually this is this.
Yeah.
So this was when I got back from California in August, I guess it was. This is what I came back to. So he had gathered a bunch of our friends up, and they were basically cutting down trees by day and just having bonfires at night.
That is fantastic.
And so when I jumped in when I got back, and we worked through it. Luckily, his dad had a backhoe, so he was able to rip our stumps out. And yeah, we took that summer, basically took it from here to here, and then we were lucky enough to have our current business partner, Sam. He has been farming all this around here for a long time, and he came over and plowed the field for us and got it all set up. But yeah, so that was where we put our first little vineyard. Beginning of the construction, when they just got the sticks there.
There's that building there. To that.
Yeah, and so all the tanks that you're looking up against the walls are all jacketed, and so they're temperature controlled, and that's where we do our mainly our white wine fermentations and our rosé fermentations. And so that usually we like our whites to ferment at like between 56 and 60 degrees, and so that does a good job of keeping them at temperature so that they don't end up getting too hot, and they don't have the nice freshness and the good flavors you want when it gets too hot. And no filtration, we do no filtration. On the reds, on the whites, we filter those for the most part.
So, how many gallons go in one of these steel tanks?
These ones are about 500 gallons, right around 500 gallons. So that's going to be about 2,500 bottles in each tank.
Okay, cool. And how do you ferment these or age these?
So these, mostly what's in here right now is our whites and 24 reds. So we haven't actually swapped our barrels yet. So we still have our 2023s in barrel. Pretty much in the next couple of weeks, we'll be working on pulling all of our 2023 wines out of barrel and replacing them with our 24s.
And you put your whites in barrels as well?
Just the reds mainly. Yeah, we have 2 or 3 acacia barrels that are they're not made of oak, they're actually made of acacia wood.
Oh.
And they tend to be better for whites. They're a little bit more soft and they don't overpower the whites quite so much, so I like to use those for the whites. But no, most of our whites we do in stainless. I sort of prefer the crispness and the freshness. Occasionally when we want to do something like a little bit different or interesting, we'll use the acacia barrels. But for the most part, it's stainless.
All right, so this is silica?
Yeah, our 2024 silica. And so this is what we do with our Albariño and our Viognier when we don't have enough to make it into separate varietals. And we also had some Sauvignon Blanc that came in from one of our client vineyards. So that got blended in also.
Nice.
It adds a really nice touch though.
So it's almost like a top off of whites.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's we found out almost just by accident because when we were first getting our Viognier and Albariño blocks up to snuff, we didn't have enough to make the separate varietals, so we blended them, and they just are really good blending partners. Like I never really realized it, but they're fantastic blending partners.
Here, look at this. This is the winemaker, Cedar Rose.
Here we go. For anyone who doesn't know, this is called a wine thief. Is actually literally what we call this tool. Smells nice.
So this is really cool up here. What do you guys do up here?
So it's open normally just every week. You know, if you want to come up on a Friday night, we have music 5 to 8. Saturday, music's 2 to 5. And so we'll have a musician up here playing, just normally during regular open hours. But we also rent it out for private events too. And so if you have a bridal shower, birthday party, something like that, we can seat right around, I think 35 to 40 people in here. And so we rent it out for events like that, which we also actually do the food for. So we started doing the catering this year too. So now we're doing the food for that as well. Yeah, so right there, what do we have? We have Albariño, Viognier, Regent, and Norton in this first block. And then on the far block, you have Niagara, another block in Norton, Traminette, and then Chamberson.